Hello, welcome to Unbearable 73. This is your host, Matt, of course, reaching out to you again. Saw an article today, a couple days ago, about our topic here with the Blacklist being renewed for season 10. It's my 23rd episode. So let's get right to it. I think this will be short and sweet, as they say. Oops, that was the wrong one because I'm a noob. I'm a noob. You saw it. I admit it. Luckily, Brave OBS makes it fairly easy to fix. And there we go. And now you see the great James Spader on your screen. So what is The Blacklist? The Blacklist is a TV show that started back in 2013. It's basically a spy drama. The premise was that a notorious international criminal and one of the greatest traitors in the history of the U.S., Raymond Reddington, who had been in hiding. He was an international arms dealer, blah blah blah. And he came out of hiding to make a deal in secret with the U.S. government to work with them and stop because he had never actually worked directly against U.S. interests unless the U.S. came after him for something. And he would give them the names of people on the blacklist, which is the classified version of the most wanted list, the 100 most wanted criminals in the intelligence community, so to speak. Now, there have been quite a few episodes of the Blacklist. Let's take a quick look over at. So there have been basically 180 plus episodes, if I remember, of the Blacklist. Okay, that's what we learned from IMDb here, and so obviously it's more than 100 criminals. So they found a way to extend this. So the question is, was there a means of extending this worth the time? And yes, this show has been masterfully run for years. A couple of times they flirted with some of the secrets involving the character, and they could have ruined the show, but they found a way to sort of invert expectations and make you even more interested in the mystery surrounding it. By now, we have learned some of the core mysteries that are, in other words, they've answered questions for us, so we get that satisfaction. But on the other hand, have opened up new mysteries. So we're not circling the drain, as I call it. We're avoiding going into the next area. And by circling the drain, I use more of the video game analogy from some early video games where you run on, like in Mario, you go on a drain and circle before you go down, type of thing. Not so much the plumbing analogy. Well, yeah, the plumbing analogy. It gets that sounded really stupid, And I could cut it out, but I'm not going to hide my fumbles for it. I'm trying to be real with you guys. So, what is great about the Blacklist? Well, to be honest, it's James Spader. The dude is one of the greatest living character actors of all time. And anything he does, even like weird rom-coms or plays or whatever, he's always worth watching. And we'll take a look at his career over here. This is his filmography. If you go back, you'll see a lot of really weird stuff. But he was in Mannequin and Pretty in Pink, for example. But right around that time, here's a picture called Jack's Back, which is kind of a mystery thriller about Jack the Ripper being back or someone following in his footsteps. That, of course, is something I would recommend everyone watch. It's very good, despite a couple of big-time critics, saying, "Oh, it's horrible. It was not worth it. It was a new director's efforts." Blah blah blah. It's very worth a watch. It came out. It was overshadowed by a movie he did next year called Sex, Lies, and Videotape, which is all the critics loved, but personally I found it overrated. But Spader, for his part in it, was excellent. And there I did it again. I'm gonna try to stop that with my people. Now, of course, we move on. A lot of these movies, like prior to his big film that everyone will know him for, which is Stargate. He was in Wolf as one of the antagonists. the film itself was not great, but but the characters were interesting, and it's worth watching for that because you have three great character actors in it: Nicholson, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Spader doing their thing, and that alone is worth it. So I'd recommend watching Wolf, and of course, obviously you should watch Stargate. It's one of the best science fiction films of all time. Um, and then after that, obviously, we can go on to the specifics of the films, but we'll go to the TV. He is most well known for two roles on TV. One is for a character named Alan Short, who appeared in the last season of The Practice, and then was a headliner on Boston Legal. All right. And obviously now for The Blacklist, which has been on for basically 10 years. So, guy's a great character actor, enjoyable. Anything you do, and I recommend giving anything he's ever in a once watch. Now let's take a look at the ratings for season 9. And our first 9 episodes, so to speak, consistently getting 3 million, high 2.5, like 2.8, 2.9 to over 3 million viewers, which we're showing his ninth year is pretty good. I mean, viewer change from his first episode was about 17% drop from the year before, so it is showing some decline long term. But then look the seasonal drop remained mostly leveled out, and even though even some spikes in interest that counted that, like the 9% second episode drop was erased with a 3% increase, so forth, and all the losses here were basically it's up on ratings for the year if you had to do the math up. Oh, I know they say minus 4.0%. Okay, so I'm guessing with the last episode there'll be a spike and it'll be up on the year. That's my personal prediction. So it's done well ratings-wise, and obviously that's one of the reasons they're renewing it. So I would urge people to watch The Blacklist. Now, if you've never watched it before, The Blacklist is best watched in chunks. Even though each episode is almost always a standalone episode that is very tight, there's a meta story that happens in each, of course, several arcs of the show. Usually there's 2 or 3 meta arcs in each season, and there's the long-term meta arc of the mystery surviving Raymond Reddington and other characters. So you'll kind of get a sense of it. In the middle seasons, they tend to do control arcs of each half, breaking the seasons in half, so you can follow it that way. But basically, I would recommend watching at least the first 4 or 5 episodes in one afternoon. Like make it kind of a long TV afternoon, and then taking out in chunks to catch it, because it's much more enjoyable when you can see the events unfold in real time. You know, this is one of the few shows I go back and occasionally watch half a season of for. So, in conclusion, I'm recommending you, those who've never watched The Blacklist, go back and start it. I'm happy it's going to be given a 10th season. I'll be probably when the season is over, I think it's like a 12 episode season. I'll watch the whole thing I watched the first 2 episodes of it. So I don't know why. I was like starting to watch episode by episode. Then I realized I need to watch it in a chunk. This to me it's like a giant movie to me, the way The Blacklist is carefully crafted. And so I'll probably watch maybe in March if the season's over. It really is like a 12 episode season. I'll watch the rest of it, plus maybe rewatch the first 2 episodes like in 1 or 2 days on a weekend or something like that. So that's Matt from Unbearable 73. I'm glad we could have this opportunity to talk about one of my favorite TV shows of recent times, and of course the great James Spader. The guy is such an awesome character actor, and he clearly picks and chooses his roles because I could easily see him doing like a lot of those Oscar-worthy films and whatnot. And my understanding is he just works projects he finds interesting because he doesn't need the money. So that. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you like it, hit the like button. If you dislike it and YouTube has turned the dislike button on, hit the dislike button. If you like to subscribe to some more content, follow me here or on Rumble if you're not comfortable here on YouTube, which is fine. I respect that. And I have some links below to articles I showed in the video, as well as follow me on social media to get updates on my videos. And I have multiple social media accounts, which I largely just post links to this, so I do opine about some other stuff. But so you can follow whatever ones you're comfortable on, so to speak. Have a good night, and I am out of here.